Hey guys, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm from the likes of the Maxi Toys here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another redo Let's Play for our channel. And, well, we only got about a month left now until E3 is about to be getting closer to its release. So I think this will be a perfect opportunity to watch this amazing intro in the entire game.
Oh.
And what the heck? Oh, that was actually a great start for this particular intro sequence. Well, at least after that, anyway. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our redo Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie, released for the Nintendo 64, or as you can see on screen, I'm going to be playing this on the Xbox 360 by the forms of the Xbox Live Arcade version. Now, you guys are probably thinking to yourself that you did already done this before, haven't you? Well, at least back in 2016. Well, the thing is, that particular Let's Play is no longer there anymore for multiple reasons. For one, the commentary itself feels a bit kind of bland and generic, and also during the same time that you can't actually hear the game audio very well. And while the quality itself is good, all in all, however though, the biggest disappointing for the forms of that particular original Let's Play of this game is that our views count, very similar to Super Mario 64 DS, our views count is nowhere near as high. So because of this though, we figure I'm also able to do this game again, and this time around though, things gets a little bit more well, relative at the least, and also that I'm actually really looking forward to able to actually doing this redo Let's Play for a much more pretty good purpose of it, because otherwise, that after all, that you've recognized Banjo and Kazooie ever since during the forms of that was before when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that these two amazing duos now finally makes their playable character during the course of that game as DLC. So either way though, it might be a perfect opportunity to able to do this game again, but this time, you know, much more better commentary, so either way though, yeah, let's get this thing to it. But what's nice about this is that if you get to the file selection screen right here, that usually we get file 1, 2, and 3, and these files do have their different attributes. Like for instance, file 1 is the fact that basically Banjo is actually sleeping during the bed, whilst the forms of file 2 is actually likely he was busy trying to able to cook something, and in file number 3, what's actually cool about this is that he's playing the actual Game Boy. So yeah, that's actually a pretty cool touch, especially noticeable because this game originally came out in 1998. So yeah, I can't even believe it's been almost like 23 years ago since when this game first came out in 1998. So because of this though, and then as far as the forms that the Xbox Live Arcade version is consist of, usually relatively speaking, that version came out in 2008, so it's likely 10 years after the Nintendo 64 original release. So yeah, you probably get the gist of it. So now you guys are probably gonna say that aren't you gonna able to read any other dialogue in this game? Well, I was going to, but unfortunately though, the actual text reading is actually a lot faster than I was expected. So whilst originally I was able to play this on the actual N64 hardware, there. You know, very similar to both Mario Party 1, Mario Party 2, and Mario Party 3. But turns out, though, is the fact that the actual footage might be a bit shaky. So because of this, though, Xbox Live Arcade version is the way to go for me, especially noticeable with the actual quality, it was actually in 1080p, so it makes it a little bit more stunning to look at, especially noticeable with high quality textures, and yeah, you probably get the idea. So because of this, though, although there are some few hiccups here and there, like for instance, for example, in this scene right here, Grant Tilda did manage to freeze for a moment as soon as the actual transition between cutscenes and what have you. So yeah, that was a bit of a mistake right there, but it knows what it is when it comes to highly processing power from, you know, for the cartridge gaming to digital download games and stuff like that, so yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, the actual main plot in this game, actually I'll get into more details about this whenever I talk over for the actual, you know, and also not to mention is the fact that in addition to able to make this game first came out on the Nintendo 64 back in 1998, and also Xbox 360 on Xbox Live Arcade version in 2008, but I believe this game also came out on Xbox One and recently Xbox Series X from the likes of the Game Pass. So because of this though, thankfully it's for free if you do manage to able to actually access the Game Pass. So either way though, I wasn't able to classify that. So anyway, so here's how the actual main plot in this game is the fact that the story involves around the evil witch called Tilda, which she was gonna able to try to make herself pretty and young. And then while she was at it though, that as you can tell on screen, that her goal is to obviously try to able to like, well, I would classify for saying trying to kidnap Banjo's sister called Tootie. So because of this though, it's up to Banjo and Kazooie of all things, trying to need to able to save her. So because of this though, yeah, it's a pretty simple story when you get the hang of it though. Especially I do really love the actual, you know, the humor, especially the comedy of certain texture in there. Like, even though, as I mentioned this before, I'm probably not gonna read any text, I'm afraid, mainly because of how the fact that, well, you guys should probably already know about this game, basically, ever since, you know, very long time since the N64 era. So because of this, though, yeah, you probably expect it by this point. So, yeah, yeah, let's get this thing to it with Banjo-Kazooie, as I said. And from the start, though, we can able to explore around the forms of some sort of like a mini world, which appears to be by the forms of Spiral Mountain. And, yeah, if you're familiar with that stage, ever since during the forms of also in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you know, with that one stage in particular, that you're always going to be actually going to be standing on the forms of, the actual mountain part. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that whenever we, get towards it. So, yeah, along the way, we were able to come across into other characters here and there as well, such as, for instance, here we have Bottles here, the actual mole character. And basically, he's trying to tell us about the fact that with tips and tricks here and there, and especially noticeable, you were able to learn more abilities along the way until in the future worlds. So because of this though, as for the actual process of this Let's Play department, I'm obviously going to be going for 100% completion. So because of this though, I'll talk more about that whenever we get into the forms of, well, let's just say until on Thursday, because at this point, I'm actually going to be uploading this for the time being, during the course of Tuesdays and Thursdays, essentially. I know it seems not much in terms of day schedules, but it knows what it is, I'm afraid, so... And as you can see right there, when I just managed able to press the B button, is that this allows me to have an option to either go for tutorials or not. So in this case, I've already played this game loads of times already, so I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So yeah, this is Banjo-Kazooie. This is basically, it's like a 3D exploration collective fun game. Like, very similar to the forms of Super Mario 64, basically. However, unlike in Super Mario 64, basically it's the fact that obviously you'll have to collect power stars, and then basically your objective is to simply just save Princess Peach by the evil clutches of Bowser at the end. However, in Banjo-Kazooie, basically we're actually going to be able to explore around in some sort of a much more open world feel to it, Like, for instance, for example, as I said this before, we ended up on the forms of a tutorial world, which is of course Spiral Mountain, so able to get used to with the controls of the game, as well as several movesets, such as for instance that we actually stumbled across the well, I should say by the forms of some sort of like a beak move, likely when you're trying to jump in midair and use Kazooie as Banjo's buddy, that's basically that she can able to actually just able to beak through a lot of enemies, in addition to those little rocks that as you can see on screen, that as you can tell, I've managed to able to obtain those honeycombs, which, to be more specifically, you know what the actual shape of the honeycomb pieces. Well, if you couldn't tell, if you're trying to able to grab just the forms of, well, the actual honeycomb itself, like every time when you destroy the enemy, or alternatively, you can able to come across into those other objects, you know, as well, until eventually, that, well, take this, you know, the, I would say white cauliflower kind of enemy, that if I somehow manage to able to defeat that enemy, basically that allows me to able to obtain the actual honeycomb, which actually stands for health. So, from the start though, you do have like 5 units of health from the start. But, as you can tell from the likes of my 100% completion playthrough, I'm going to be able to try to obtain all 6 of those honeycomb pieces, and if you manage to grab all 6 of these, this will actually allows you to able to extend your health meter. So in this case right now, my health bar is exactly at 6 health. So because of this though, and while we're at it also, that we actually come across into probably is the most pointless item in the game, which appears to be the 1-up. Now, the 1-up, I understand that for the sake of the forms of trying to survive and all that stuff, but ultimately speaking, when it comes to this game, it feels kind of worthless to me. But at least I much rather prefer, well, at least in the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, that there was actually a sequel to this. But we'll talk more details about that whenever we're able to continue our progressioning for the likes of Banjo-Kazooie games. So, I think for the most part, we are basically done with Spiral Mountain. So, again, it's a very sweet and chill level, so there's no any harm or anything else like that, well, apart from those carrot vegetable enemies that you have to come across. But honestly, these enemies are not much of a threat. So, it's just there for the sake of you able to try to get used to with the combat in this game. So, so now we've done with that, and this will allows us to able to go across the bridge, which actually leads us to the main hub world of the game, called Gruntilda's Lair. And what can we do, you might be thinking? Well, we'll find out once we see this little cutscene first, which involves around that 2D's been trapped in this little contraption, and Gruntilda, she was pretty much guaranteed able to hop onto the left side of this contraption, and while we're at it, that she was along with Klungo right here, which appears to be his name by the way, for this evil scientific creature, and basically they're about to switch things around. So don't worry 2D, we will save you, so don't you worry, don't panic. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Even though there wasn't any voice acting in this though, which all it goes is like ring 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 grabberish, or yeah, grunting and all that stuff though, which I don't mind. So anyway, and this is where we come across into the main aspect of those collectibles in this game. That's what appears to be the Jiggies. And basically, there's quite literally quite a lot of those Jiggies in this game. Like, I think there are a grand total of like 100 of them specifically, which that was the goal I was about to be aiming for. So because of this though, at the moment we only got 1 Jiggy at the moment. So what can you do with the actual Jiggies in this game? Well, if we go all the way from here, like I'm just showing you right now, basically we come across into this little particular, well, the jigsaw-shaped podium at the moment. But if we try to stand onto it though, while it starts glowing, basically it's your chance to able to actually place your Jiggy puzzle piece into the actual picture. And if you do manage to able to place one of those spots in the picture, basically this allows you to able to unlock one of those worlds. So in this case, the first world we're going to be able to unlock is, as you can tell from the actual screen, we are about to be unlock Mumble Mountain. So because of this though, the very first world in the entire game. So because of this though, or Mumble's Mountain I should say, so forgive me if I able to actually mispronounce that. So And I'd like to mention more details about the forms of the actual main gameplay itself, but I'm just gonna have to save it up until on Thursday. So in this case, yeah, we're gonna end things up here. So join me next time on Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. It's the fact that we're about to begin the first world in the game, Mumble Mountain. So this will be exciting. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Later, fellas.